Hey everybody, welcome back to Rising Angels Reborn. My internet is going to make me have a hurt. How's it going? How am I going to explain this? That's the real question of the month. That recording was the only thing you found on there? Yes, ma'am. I did a thorough sweep of the site. I did a thorough sweep of the site and did not find anything else of value. Just like the previous site, everything had been stripped of information. 2 hours at the ground site and that was all you were able to discern? Yes, ma'am. I've heard tales about Saito's masters at discovering even the most hidden truths. This performance is not living up to those standards. Yes, ma'am. Did you take photographs of the ground site for later study? Of course not! Major Pusile, did you ensure that your security officer had performed a check to ensure safety of my crew? Oh, now she's my security officer. I did. We ensured that all protective measures were taken. So you let Captain Moonfollow out of your line of vision? She was within shouting distance and had Lieutenant Starr with her. How could I have foreseen this? Correct. You made the right choice at the start. When you heard from the recordings that their team had been attacked, did you deem it important to notify them? That's my fault, ma'am. So? I was agitated with Major Pusile and started a fight with her. She was going to notify Captain Moonfollow, but I pulled her away from it. The error in judgment resides with me. Don't let him lie to you. I was the one who cared more about finding more clues. They're both wrong, Commander. I just watched them fight instead of doing anything to break it up. You all screwed up equally. As the ranking officer in charge of this operation, I bear all responsibility for what happened out there. Major, you will learn as you command that there are times when you could have prevented a catastrophe. Hindsight will always be perfect. You screwed up today in a way that could have been prevented. You let emotions drive you and let your guard down. Captain Moonfollow had to pay for that mistake. But mistakes happen. Learn from them. Tell me, what happened to Captain Moonfollow? I can explain that. By all means. Faye was investigating some wildflowers she had noticed on the fringes of the camp. The pup thought it was really strange because it was the only florist she had found. What are you doing? Thinking. So both of your guards were down and you were outside the range of Lieutenant Zuri. Well, I'm sorry! We thought everything was safe. Bearing. I'm sorry if my bearing isn't rock hard right now. I'm a little shook up. 1 minute I'm staring up into space, the next there was these things leaping out of the sand. They were like large fish with stingers grafted into their tails. These long, curved, ghastly things that reminded me of the night sky. They were on top of Faye before I could do anything. I tried to beat them off of Faye. I tried to beat them off. Or, going to take a nap? Not until I've had a look at Nat the mad scientist. Here I am, trying to make sure you're happy and healthy, and you're trying to escape from it. What if those wounds contained poison? Well, Natalie, the doctor's always scary. What do you mean? I don't know. Take me to Stan? I'm starting to suspect that our good doctor might be trying to pocket medical supplies on the side. I'd rather be the one to inspect your wounds. Me too. He's very nice to me, but he always asks the strangest questions. What sort of questions? You down to fuck? When are you free? I don't know, he doesn't ask them anymore. After a month or so, he just stopped caring about me or my existence. That's probably for the best. Where were you cut? My hand. Don't worry, I'm fine. Stop glaring at me, please. Hand out. No! Don't make me get a sedative from the doctor. I'm not letting you get away without an inspection. If you insist. I am. You saved Kika and Faye today. A legendary warrior like yourself deserves the best treatment possible! Wait, hold on. How loud is the music? Damn, okay. I did. I saved them. Were you impressed? Very. You're not mad about me having to hit you with my tail, right? I try to be very careful. Normally, people slap the other person when they aren't being logical. Your tail had a lot more force. Sorry. Don't apologize. If I would have went with you, those things would have torn me apart. You saved my life today. Almost broke my arm in the process, but you did. You mean went without you? While she's distracted with thoughts of being a valiant warrior, I take her coarse hands into mine. Despite her protests earlier, I can see that her hand was sliced up pretty bad. I can see trace amounts of a liquid other than blood on her hand. With a small vial and rubber gloves, I gather up as much of the liquid infused blood as I can. I don't remember reading about many animals that can leave notable amounts of venom on their victim. What is it? I'm not quite sure. I want to have it analyzed, though. You don't appear to be showing any signs of contamination, but tell me immediately if you start feeling funny. Knock knock! Not that kind of funny. On closer inspection, I can see that slice was the right word for it. The cuts are clean and deep. How Zuri manages to go without wincing as I clean up the wounds is remarkable. But why would a wild beast be able to claw up someone in such a perfectly straight and precise manner? This is most peculiar. Go test it! I can see it in your eyes. You really want to go test it. Not until I finish bandaging up your hand. Don't you need to focus on... I don't know what I need right now. Just let me help. There! See? See? All better! Come on, I want to know what's bugging you. I want to know how you aren't moaning and groaning. Those were some deep cuts. These little scratches? They're nothing! I've gotten roughed up a lot worse. This one time, my... I pull up the readout, expecting to see an error. No. It's a result. Try... Kudratexidon. It's a toxin designed by the Ralton Empire. It's lethal to Lupidae and Kitsune in nearly 65% of direct contact cases. Most symptoms include muscle paralysis, short-term memory loss, and, depending on the dose, rapid death. It works on a cellular level by preventing the exchange of oxygen and CO2. Against non-Lupidae and non-Kitsune, it had very little effect. Most people don't show any signs, even after the direct exposure of considerable quantities. That seems like a strange thing for mutant desert fish to excrete. Perhaps not. Those cuts, too, they're clean. Too clean to be natural. Computer, how many matches do I have for Ralton genetic weapons that match Lieutenant Zuri's descriptions?
Checking with database of known Ralton genetic weapons. Description matches 3 potential candidates.
Y'all had a fucking Jarvis this entire time? The Empire did this? Why would they attack scientists? They wanted the weapon for themselves, obviously. Still, something here doesn't make sense. Why would you attack the scientists with such strange weapons if you already knew the location? One of the most important rules of warfare is to know your opponent. Whoever they wanted to kill was a Lupidae or a Kitsune. Maybe we're thinking about this the wrong way. Nothing in the researcher's audio log suggested that the creatures who attacked him were fish-like. This is going out on a limb, but what if the Raltons arrived after the scientists? They could have killed the researchers and stolen their data. That would explain why we can't find any information. The last researcher managed to escape with the weapon with the Imperials in pursuit. Our friendly little fishies were meant to prevent us from following them any further. They knew we were coming and made a move to stop us. But how could they jam our attempts of understanding if they didn't know we were coming? They knew? The spy on board has been forwarding all of our information to allow the Raltons the chance to beat us to the punch. I need to talk to Faye before our insidious foe can get to her. She knows something so important that it was worth making sure she died on the planet instead of me. Who would try to kill Faye? Faye's harmless. What sort of sick mind would attack the innocent? Someone who knew our coordinates, who had direct access to my lab at one point, who has never had an alibi, who could bait Faye into a trap. But the person who fits all those conditions is Kika. She wouldn't try to kill her friend. Would she? Pride can make people do terribly stupid things. Don't you believe Kika? It's my job to question assumptions until I can determine the truth. You must lead a really sad life. Damn. Fucking epic. It's like the Chad serial killer, the virgin like FBI homicide detective. Well, posting guard over the entrance to the auxiliary lab where Stan resides is a vigilant soul. Vigilant! Vigilant! His eyes are sharp, but his gaze seems to be staring at something more than the metallic door of the lab. How's she doing? The dog or the house cat? Gika says she's fine, but you can see it in her eyes. The cat is skittish, jumping at every little noise, and barely focusing on her instruments. I'll have to take over. Do you think she knew? That she was walking into a hive of dangerous creatures, or that she was going to get her best friend nearly killed? Both. Soul gives me a sad look of understanding. Does he know of my suspicions? Does he know of that foul job I must perform?
If she did, those tears are rather convincing.
Kika? Crying?
Strange, right? Turns out the little kitten knew... Yeah. Turns out the little kitten can mew loudly when she thinks nobody's around.
Don't look so happy at her sorrow.
Sorry, I just like seeing the hero knocked down a peg. Does that make you the villain? Yeah, that's such... If you knew her like I did, you'd be happy to see that she has a humble side.
Is that why you're here? So you could rejoice in the pain of that mutt you hate so much? How's she doing? Do you care?
She woke up for a couple minutes, screaming in pain and terror, crying for someone to make it stop, before she passed out again. The bastard ran a test to try and find what she had been poisoned with, but couldn't come up with anything.
What?
That's what I said. I swear the thing's medical license has to be from some dinky backwater university. He was having trouble just trying to patch up the cuts.
Did he say there was anything strange about them?
The cuts themselves? No, I'm telling you, Natalie, that colonel is an absolutely worthless doctor.
Worthless, or something far worse?
In the end, I had to force him to use his precious resources to try and test known antidotes for a cure. At the threat of reporting his undocumented cupboards, he finally found one. She's still unconscious, though. The doctor says she's currently in a coma induced by the chemicals and isn't responding to outside stimuli.
So if I wanted to ask her a question...
I'm not sure when, if ever, you'll be able to talk with her.
That's not reassuring. What am I going to do? Find the culprit, I suppose. Why are you here? You hate Faye.
Clearly not strong enough.
What does that mean?
I don't trust him. I don't trust the bastard, and I don't want him left alone with my dog.
She's not a dog, and she's not yours.
Fine. My wolf.
Not better.
When Lena left me, all I was left with was memories and our dog. Forgive me if I want to protect something precious to me. Is this like an ex-wife? Oh, wow, I wonder what happened.
Faye, the girl I hear you call a mutt on a daily basis, the woman who you treat like garbage, is precious to you? You have a strange way of showing it.
It's just a typical Gen X or Boomer way of showing it. You should head to bed. You're still spun up over what happened out there.
I guess it's my turn to yell whatever and storm off.
I'm sorry about that. I'm just stressed out about my family. I've lost too many people important to me. I don't want to lose more to something I could prevent.
I understand, Soul. We're both tired. There's a lot more in play here than a radar station in the middle of nowhere or a battle between two squadrons of starfighters.
But it's not right. I don't want to hurt my only friend here. I don't care if the rest of them hate me. That's just part of my job, but you...
Just try to be nicer to them. If you could, my job would be easier, you'd be happier, and we'd both not be a hair away from snapping.
I'll try, but no promises.
I'll try to thank you, but no promises.
Good night, Natalie.
Don't stay here all night.
I'll stay as long as I'm needed.
He slips back into a resting position, leaning against the wall parallel to the door. Knowing him...
So he's over here by the window?
Or no. No, he's right next to the door. Right here. He's right here, yeah. Knowing him, he won't be leaving that spot until Faye gets better. Soul never once asked about my suspicions, never tried to pry information from me. He told me all of his thoughts and concerns about Colonel Nelson being suspicious, but asked for nothing in return. I want to trust him. For now, I will. I'll give my old friend the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to keep being angry at him. But the way he wants to protect Faye... Actions speak louder than words. I think I'll trust him to watch over her. He says such mean things about her, but then he does something like this. Why doesn't he just be honest with himself? Either he hates or he likes her, clean and simple. Why can't things be clean and simple?
Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel.
And Nelson, hiding medicine, not knowing the basics of it, being unable to correctly identify the chemical agent. Is he a colonel who just doesn't really practice medicine much, or something more sinister? I didn't even give Kylie much thought until now. What is she bringing on this ship that we don't know about? I should have been more concerned when Soul mentioned getting those Quinn steaks. My eyelids feel heavy. Today has been far too long. Bed. I try to keep my mind focused on it so the rampaging demons of my mind don't consume me right now. I almost pull myself into the embrace of my warm sheets, but quiet sobbing pulls me from my focus. Kika? In almost a heartbeat, the sobbing stops. The mask of the hero is pulled back on, and Kika drops down from her top bunk. Oh, hey. What are you doing here? I thought you'd be up thinking about the recording. I could ask you the same question. I thought you were on the bridge doing the navigation. Versuna threw me out. She seems to think that I'm not emotionally stable enough right now to do basic investigation into uncharted space. Please. Are you? Of course I am! Why bother asking such a stupid question? Are you? Yeah, I'm just fine. I wasn't the one who was attacked after all. How's Wolfie doing? For someone who spends most of her time on uncharted planets, I'm sure she's just fine. I doubt this was the first time she's been attacked by monsters. I don't have the heart to tell her that Faye was poisoned. Then again, she may already know. She's sleeping right now. Dr. Nelson is doing his best to patch her up, good as new. I knew it. That's why I chose her to be my minion. I wouldn't choose someone who was a weakling. You have others? Of course, but she's the only one who had orders with me. Blade had to stay behind. Serves him right for not working harder. Who's Blade? I still would have liked to send him a message before we made the shift to deep space. We won't be able to communicate out here. It sounds like you miss him. I don't miss him, idiot! I just wanted to make sure that he was taking care of himself. He's a mess without me watching over him. Are you sure you weren't the one who was a mess without him? No, I'm just fine. Things are tough right now, but I'm tougher. Are you sure she's okay? Why don't you go down there and check? Soul's down there now. Now you've got me worried again. Worried about your friend? I'm not worried about anything. I'm just concerned that my getting the same care that I would be afforded. By either a subpar doctor or a secret smuggler, you've got low standards for yourself, Lieutenant. Try as she might, that mask just can't seem to stay up. Kika's hurt emotionally, just like Faye was mauled physically. If I let my heart decide, I would exonerate Kika right now. But I have to maintain my suspicion, while the evidence points to her. I can't just let my emotions blind me. Maybe just for tonight I can let everyone be innocent and be the trusting comrade Kika needs. As I pull myself into my bed, the words on my heart finally let themselves be heard. Don't worry, Kika. We'll find the artifact and go home heroes. Everyone will cheer for us, and nobody will need to be sad or in pain anymore. Right, that's the only logical outcome after all. I reach for my data pad, but the familiar weight on my hip isn't there. That's right. The crook smashed it. The criminal who escapes my grasp. I guess I can just keep staring out into space. Even now, as my mind slips further into insanity, the tune of the greatest game in all of history plays through my mind. I can hear its melody, so calming and relaxing. Wait. This may be eroding my sanity, but I'm pretty confident that the music is playing in more than just my head. It's permeating around the bridge. The only person on the bridge is Kika, who's been huddled over her station for a while now. What's the likelihood that the princess likes playing electronic games? It doesn't seem like it would be her style to play fake games. Still, there's no harm in asking. Hey, Kika? What? I didn't do anything. Nobody saw me do anything. You can't prove anything! Relax. I just wanted to ask if that was Marino's quest you were playing? Who said I was playing anything? That was the sound of my navigation equipment. It sounds musical to the untrained ear. You're on the spider, boss. Alright, what's your price? My price? Not to rat me out. Rasuna always makes me do push-ups, Sylvie yells at me for a few minutes, and Al makes me cover a shift of his. What's your price? That's called punishment. Call it what you will. What's your price? Can I play with you? No. Nobody plays on my save file. I understand. I do the same thing in your shoes. But just for today, I'll let you watch me. I'm about to tell her where she can stick that boring idea when I remember there's an enemy agent running around. Getting close to one of the suspects might help me. Fine, I'll settle. I walk over to where Kika is sheltering her datapad. Sure enough, there's Marino's quest staring back at me. I hate the spider boss. You and me both. At least it's better than the flying fish boss. Flying fish boss? I don't remember that one. Sure you do. We had to fight it a couple days ago. I stifle a laugh. We should have leveled up outside first. Maybe if you would have shared the strategy guide with the rest of us, things would have gone better. We did the best we could with what we had. Whatever, stop distracting me. Not wishing to continue a pointless argument, I fall silent and commit to just watching her play my game. Kika isn't bad at the game, her finger movements are deft and her strategies are precise. However, her fighting style is driving me crazy within seconds. You know you could just use the Fire Blast too, instead of wasting all of your ability power on spamming fireballs. Yes, but this takes care of the little spiderlings as well. They aren't your biggest concern. You need to burn the boss off before it tries to use Web Sling. I know that! I like this plan better. But Fire Blast 2 has splash damage as well. Not nearly big enough! It's as if you hit it just right. My accuracy is fine, thank you. You're wasting your potions. I have plenty, see? This is why I can't go home. You know nothing about good tactics. Yours are wasteful.
It's just a game.
Stop saying that! You just don't understand, Soul.
I understand that Lieutenant Star is playing games on her watch again.
I think I'd rather pay Soul's price than miss Chatty's.
As much as I'd love reminding you again and again about your job while on duty, I'm only here to get Natalie.
What's wrong? Is it Faye?
No, you haven't eaten anything in 2 days.
Has it really been that long?
Come on, Natalie.
Alright, Soul, alright. Kika, consider what I said about the Fire Blast too.